Hello everyone. Back again with film recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the thriller drama films from 2015, titled The Ones Below. Before we get to the storyline, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and great day. Without further ado, let's get straight to the storyline.
Is that her head?
Mm-hmm. Can we see the face?
The movie begins with a young couple, Kate and Justin, eagerly preparing for the arrival of their first child. They live in a charming apartment building in London, and are extremely happy as they anticipate the joys of parenthood. Kate calls her mother to let her know the scan went well, but no one answers, so she leaves a voicemail. During a dinner with friends, Kate and Justin mention about their new neighbors who have moved into the downstairs apartment. There is a sense of mystery surrounding these newcomers, as their arrival coincides with the death of the previous tenant, an elderly man. Kate also reveals that she still possesses the keys to the apartment, having once tended to the old man's flower garden. Here a strange connection begins to emerge when a man listens in on them talking about how amusing the new tenant's garden looks.
It's not that it's ugly, it's just...
As Kate and Justin return home from dinner, they notice two pairs of shoes outside the downstairs apartment, signaling the arrival of their new neighbors. Inside her apartment, Kate stumbles upon an old photograph of herself as a child, alongside her mother and another young boy. She is lost in her thoughts when she is interrupted by a sound in the garden, which draws her attention to a pregnant woman named Teresa. As fate would have it, Teresa is leaving her apartment at the same time, and the two women meet for the first time. Kate shares that she is 18 weeks along in her pregnancy, while Teresa is slightly ahead at 21 weeks. Kate then reluctantly accepts Teresa's invitation to join her for swimming. The bond between them begins to grow, despite an underlying sense of secrecy. Teresa confides in Kate, revealing that she has chosen the name Peter for her soon-to-be-born son, but asks Kate to keep this information to herself. Afterwards, Kate calls her husband and suggests they go out to lunch, and then get a hotel room, but he is too busy with work. After she's done with work, Kate spots Teresa while shopping in a children's clothing store. She follows her until she sees Teresa greeted with a long kiss by her husband, John, who opens the car door for her and they drive away. Later that night, Justin and Kate are hosting a dinner for their new neighbors to help them settle in. Suddenly, the light bulb in the hallway goes out, and the husband is too preoccupied in the kitchen to change it before Teresa and John arrive. The first time the two couples meet, everyone gets along great, and Teresa tells them that John is German, and a successful businessman. As the two men look out the window, their wives talk at the table, and Teresa tells Kate that her husband was previously married to a Chinese woman, but she couldn't have children. While John is not looking, she finishes a glass of wine. As they continue with dinner, Kate and Justin, who have been married for 10 years, say they are not sure if they ever wanted children. The other couple found this news surprising, as they had both struggled for 7 years to have a child. Once again, Teresa keeps drinking wine while her husband is not looking, even though she said she stopped drinking. When she starts to feel unwell, the couple decides to go home. However, tragedy strikes as she opens the door, and a tipsy Teresa trips over Kate's cat. Teresa falls down the stairs, injuring herself. Kate and Justin, concerned for her well-being, offer to call an ambulance, but John reacts aggressively, blaming them for inviting people over when their house is not safe.
Stay the fuck away from my wife!
The incident leaves everyone unsettled, and raises questions about the true nature of the relationships involved. The next morning, Kate and Justin attempt to contact Teresa and John, but their repeated knocks on the door go unanswered. A sense of unease and mystery surrounds the absence of their neighbors. Amidst the uncertainty, Kate and Justin visit Kate's mother, sharing an ultrasound scan of their unborn child. The encounter brings mixed emotions, as Kate longs for her mother's support, but feels a growing distance between them. Upon returning to their apartment building, Kate and Justin are startled to find John waiting outside the downstairs apartment. He extends an invitation, welcoming them into their home, and curiosity and trepidation tangle as they step inside. Inside the stylish apartment, Teresa, surrounded by an air of sadness, reveals that she prematurely gave birth to her baby, displaying a photograph as proof. Kate blames herself for not changing the light bulb, believing it could have made a difference. John then becomes enraged and tells them that if the light bulb had been changed, his son would still be alive. Kate's husband comes to her defense, telling John that it was an accident, and that Teresa had been drinking wine that night. Hearing this, John is furious and asks Teresa if she drank, to which she says no, but Kate confirms that she has seen her drink wine. Things get heated when Teresa claims Kate is making everything up to protect herself, and with a menacing look, she tells her she does not deserve to have her baby. Haunted by Teresa's accusations and her own self-doubt, Kate becomes consumed with guilt. She tells her husband that when she saw Teresa sitting there, she felt ungrateful for ever being uncertain about having a child, and Justin assures her that their child is the most important thing in their lives. A few days later, Kate and Justin find a letter under their door, and in the letter, Teresa expresses their decision to return to Germany to break the tension between them, and to grieve the loss of their child. They vow to return only when they are ready to offer their congratulations. Time passes, and Kate gives birth to their child, whom they name Billy. However, she is disappointed that her own mother didn't come to the hospital, so Justin reassures her that nothing else matters now aside from the baby. When Kate goes downstairs to grab some milk the next day, she sees shoes outside the downstairs apartment, meaning that Teresa and John are back. Seeing this, Justin expresses his desire for an apology from them for what Teresa said. While collecting the birth certificate for their newborn child, Kate gets a phone call from her mother. She comes over to their apartment to see the baby and gives Kate a gift, senses a lack of sincerity in her mother's gestures upon visiting the newborn, only doing so because Justin asked her to, and not on her own behalf. They then hear a knock on their door, and find John and Teresa standing there. The couple extend an apology and offer a gift, hinting at a desire to move on from the past. An air of uncertainty and tension lingers, tinged with a sense of impending danger. During the visit, Teresa asks to hold Billy, and Kate reluctantly agrees. In the midst of this uneasy interaction, Kate's mother resists the urge to hold her grandson. The next day, after Kate's husband leaves for work, Teresa comes to visit Kate with a glass of lemon juice, and Kate understands that Teresa wants to see Billy. They spend the day together, going to the park and the swimming pool. Appearing innocent on the surface, Kate's instincts tell her something is amiss. As Teresa suggests babysitting Billy, Kate's desire for a break, and some time with her husband outweighs her reservations, leading her to accept the offer. Afterwards, Kate is again staring at an old photograph of herself and her mother, her gaze fixed on the young boy in the photograph. She then accepts Teresa's offer to babysit, and tries to find solace in revisiting her past at the cemetery. There, she mourns the loss of a boy in the photograph who turns out to be her brother, leaving flowers on his grave and yearning for her own son, Billy, to have the chance to meet him. In the meantime, Teresa is seen placing tissues on her breasts, and leaving the house with Billy, but where she takes him isn't revealed. When Kate gets back, she finds Teresa just emerging from her nap, and assumes everything is fine. Later on, Kate's emotions overwhelm her as she witnesses Billy's relentless crying, and she seeks medical help to find the cause. The hospital visit provides a clue about Billy's distress, pointing towards a potential allergy. Kate is advised to stop breastfeeding and modify her diet. Upon returning home, they find the gas stove left on full blast, even though Kate remembers turning it off. The days blur together as Kate battles exhaustion and an overwhelming sense of fatigue. Doubts and fear begin to gnaw at her sanity, and to make matters worse, the car alarm from the couple downstairs keeps going off in the middle of the night. Her memory falters, and she forgets about Teresa's offer to babysit. In order to give Kate a chance to sleep, Teresa decides to bring the baby downstairs, but then she takes the baby outside with John without telling Kate. Later, Kate and Justin are invited for dinner at Teresa and John's apartment, and anticipate a reprieve from their demanding lives as parents. But Kate seems to be jealous of how Teresa looks in front of her husband, and she goes to the bathroom to calm down. Meanwhile, Teresa and Justin engage in an unsettling, yet subtly flirtatious conversation, fueling Kate's suspicions and discomfort. Increasingly consumed by paranoia, Kate hears strange man's breath noises emanating from the baby monitor. She frantically runs upstairs, and then discovers the baby peacefully sleeping in an overflowing bath, but her claims fall on skeptical ears. Doubt and suspicion cast shadows over her, as Justin believes that she is the cause of these unsettling incidents. In a desperate attempt to uncover the truth, Kate requests that Teresa look after Billy while she goes out. But instead, she sneaks upstairs, and looks out her window to see what Teresa's gonna do with her baby. And to her surprise, she finds Teresa taking pictures of her son, and then proceeds to breastfeed. Kate then acts like nothing had happened and takes her son back from Teresa, as Teresa is going swimming as well as meeting her husband for lunch. After she leaves, Kate grabs the spare keys she had from the time the old neighbor lived there and, determined to find evidence, heads to Teresa's apartment to investigate. Her search leads her to the camera, which is filled with pictures of Teresa posing with Billy. She then walks into a fully furnished baby room, and discovers a photograph of Teresa and John holding her son, and posing for the camera as though he were their own. The shocking revelation sent chills down her spine, and as Kate absorbs the weight of the discovery, she hears John's arrival and instinctively escapes back to her own apartment. The woman immediately calls Justin, demanding his return. After the husband returns, Kate's urgency leads to a confrontation as she storms inside Teresa's house to grab the camera she was looking at earlier, but it holds no evidence of the incriminating photos. She then barges into the baby room, where she also finds nothing out of the ordinary, and it's just not like what she saw earlier. She admits that she was in the apartment earlier, and confronts Teresa about taking pictures of her son, to which she replies by handing Kate a framed photograph of Billy that she has prepared as a gift for her.
Kate, come upstairs. Come upstairs now.
Returning to her apartment with a heavy heart, Kate grapples with the realization that the evidence she found has vanished. Kate is questioning her own sanity, as her husband Justin remains skeptical. Justin is staying home to work from home and to check on Kate, as he believes Kate is making all of this up given her family history. The wife can't accept that her own husband is not on her side, so she takes Billy out for a walk. Along the way, Kate stops at a river to process everything that is happening. She's just staring at the river, lost in her thoughts, and then she gazes at her baby, telling him how much she loves him. Justin is standing behind her, and they converse and come up with a decision to find a different place to rent, hoping that a change of scenery will bring relief from the torment they've endured. They manage to locate a lovely new apartment where they can raise their child, much to Kate's relief. While driving back, Kate expresses a desire to move immediately, but Justin informs her that the credit check procedure will take a couple of days, so Kate makes Justin promise not to tell the unsettling couple anything. The following morning, Justin suddenly receives a phone call about an important meeting he was to attend, so he leaves the anxious Kate on her own. He hands Kate the milk, which she's often seen drinking, and tells her to call the moving van for tomorrow. Unfortunately, when Justin reaches the office, he discovers there is no urgent meeting. But as he checks his computer, he notices an email from Kate stating she's so sorry, and he rushes home, terrified. Meanwhile, we see Kate and her son Billy, back at the river she was standing by earlier. She suddenly picks the baby up and throws him inside, watching as the water consumes him. Afterwards, we see Justin run upstairs to find his wife has taken her own life by overdosing on medication, and drowning herself in the bath. He then looks for Billy, but he is nowhere to be seen. Panicking, he checks if Billy is with Teresa, but he is not there either. He runs to the nearby river where he found Kate earlier, to see an empty baby carriage. When he finally realizes what's happened, he drops to the ground and breaks down in despair. In the next scene, we find Justin at a funeral, where he is joined by Teresa and John. After the funeral, Justin is packing everything into boxes, as he is leaving that cursed apartment, not wanting to stay there a minute longer. Teresa informs him that they are also moving after all the events that have happened. Here, when Teresa returns to her apartment, the flashback finally reveals the truth about what took place. When Kate's husband left for a meeting that morning, he handed her the milk, which she drank right away, and then she started to feel dizzy and was about to pass out. Opening the window to get some fresh air, she sees Teresa looking back at her with a sinister expression on her face. It turns out that the menacing couple drugged Kate's milk, which is always left outside the apartment by the delivery man. They had arranged a fake meeting for the husband, and also sent the fabricated suicide note from Kate's email. So, what happened to Billy? Afterwards, we see Kate taking her baby to the river, and tosses him in. But surprise surprise, it is revealed to be not Kate at all, it's freaking Teresa, who has changed her looks to look like Kate. Then, we see Teresa approach Kate, who is only partially awake.
It's much better this way.
The final scene shows John and Teresa in their new home in Germany, where it is revealed that Teresa didn't throw Billy in the river. Instead, she threw Kate's cat, which is what made Teresa fall down the stairs before. Billy, now known as Peter, is alive and lives under the care of his new psychopathic, murderous family. Okay guys. That's all the recap of the ones below 2015. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.